Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you some stamping using some new flower designs that I've just finished and a new jug design to go with them. So these flowers and jugs come in two different sizes. You can see the two sizes of jugs there. And I think let's get started. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is stamp the jug. So I'm inking this up using VersaFine Clair in Twilight. And I'm just going to use a bit of kitchen roll to wipe the ink off the back of the jug. And I'm going to stamp that fairly near the base of the card, so there's plenty of room for the flowers. There we go. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly show you how I will mask the jug so that we can stamp the background over the top of the jug. So we do a quick stamp on a piece of fairly thin, like a piece of A4 copy paper or something like that. So I'm going to stamp the jug and then I'm going to cut it out with a pair of scissors like this. Cutting out the handle, because you might want the background to go through the handle. And then I'm going to cut out the top of the vase, cutting off the top of the vase because we might want the flowers to come out of the vase. So there we go. Oopsie, let's get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to secure that in place with a little bit of tape behind it. Here we go. Yeah. And now I'm just going to draw a line and use the edge of a bit of card. I'm going to decide where I want my background to go. So I think I want my background to go up to about here. I'm just going to draw a line for myself where I want my background to go to, like that. Then I'm going to mask the top. I'm just going to mask where the background goes to, like that. And then I'm going to stamp in my background pattern. So I'm using these dots and I'm going to stamp them in sky grey. This is sky grey. I'm choosing a fairly pale colour because I want this design to sit, I want the tablecloth design to sit back, not jump out at me too much. We choose a nice pale colour. Ink on there, and then just stamp that in. This ink pad's a bit run out. Make sure we get enough ink on there. Do another one. Let's do it like this. There we go. So we've got our dots design. And on top of that, I'm going to do the little sprig design. Again, it's a fairly pale colour so that it doesn't leap out as it's too much. Okay. And put that down there. There we go. Scrap paper here. Maybe a little bit more happening there. There we go. There. And there we've got our background stamped in. It didn't take too long. And now we're going to get started on some flowers. So let's see, what should we start with? Maybe we should go for one of these this time. I think I'm going to go for one of these to start off with. And I'm going to use, some of this. And some dark. I'm going to do a bit of a mix of the light and the dark. So maybe I'll put some dark on parts of it. A bit of two-tone. There we go. Bits of light and bits of dark. And I'm going to clean off. Let's going to use a bit of kitchen roll to clean off. Can use a little bit of stamp cleaner on the kitchen roll, and I'm just going to clean off where I'm going to put the green in, like that, and then put a little bit of green there, and I might put a bit of green on the stem. So I think we'll do some dark green for this. Maybe I'll do a bit of lighter green on the blue. So this is grass green. A bit of grass green on there. Grass green on here. And some little bits of darker. And I'm just going to winging it a little bit there, but I've just dabbed that in the middle, and I can see I've got a bit of green on here, so I'm just going to wipe it off and go back with a bit of purple. You can just see I've got a bit of green there. You can use the little daubers if you'd rather, but it's more of a personal preference thing. I think I've wiped the green off now there. I'm going to put a bit of green on there. Green on there. And wipe off where the green got there. Put a bit of purple on over the top, and we can hope for the best. There we go, a bit of purple, and just hoping we've got enough purple on this one. A bit more over the top. There we go. So now we're going to have this one coming out of the vase. Just trying to see how I can fit it in. There we go. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. There we are. Look at that. Okay, so now which flower are we going to do next? Let's do one of those. That's a bit too big. I think I'm going to do one of these ones next. So for this one, I'm going to ink up the flower first. I'm going to do a nice mix of colours on this flower. I'm going to do a little bit of yellow and a bit of orange. Oopsie. Bit of orange. There we go. Bit of red. And a bit of purple at the bottom. I love these winter orchids because they have all the different colours on them and they smell amazing and they flower for a long time and they seem to be quite difficult to kill as well. So I'm all for plants that are a bit low maintenance. You can always let me know in the comments if there's any flowers that you'd like me to add more of to my collection. I feel like I've done loads of spring flowers. I haven't done that many summer flowers. There's always so many different ones I could add. So I'm adding a bit of dark green. So a bit of light green and a bit of dark green over the top. It's always best to start with the lighter colours and then add the darker ones over the top. It's always going to work best. I can see that there's a hair stuck to there. I'm going to put a bit more purple on. I don't know if that's going to show. I think there's a tiny cat hair stuck to it. But maybe I'll go ahead anyway. Right, so here we go. I think that would fit about there. There. That's fit quite well next to the other one. And so now we can have another one of the hellebores, I think. So we could have this hellebore. Maybe we'll do that hellebore next. I think we're going to do that in the pale purple. Let's do some pale purple. Two-tone green again. There's the dark green. Okay, let's see where we can position this one. I don't really want to go over that flower. So if you want to protect some of it from being stamped over the top of, you just add a little bit of paper like that. Maybe stick it down a bit so it doesn't move. So I just wanted to protect that flower from getting stamped on. So I'm gonna go like this, I think. There we go. And then I think we could do another one of this one because it bends over that way quite nicely. So another one of this one would work. So we can do a little bit of yellow at the top. Because if you go from yellow to purple, a bit like part of the rainbow, you're not really going to get the ink pads too dirty, because I'm not going to get the yellow dirty because I'm starting off with the yellow. And as long as you're using colours that are quite close to each other in the colour wheel, it's not going to matter that you're just doing one after another. So you can see now I've got quite a bit of ink on there. So I'm just going to dab this kitchen roll on the stamp cleaner and then wipe it off. Okay, clean that off, and now we go in with the grass green. I think this is one of my new favourite greens at the moment, this grass green. And add a bit of rainforest, because the two work really well together because they're quite different tones, but they layer up quite nicely on the... Okay, so this one, I want to be careful I'm not going to stamp on the background as well. The colours, it's going to go over the other one a bit. What do I think? Maybe it would be better over here, coming out from behind there, in which case I'd have to mask this one. I think there might be a bit more space for it over here. Mask here. Okay. Just have it peeping out this way. There we go. There we are. And then you could do some little small ones in between. I think I'd like this one to be a bit brighter pink, maybe. Or I need to keep a move on because my video is going to stop in a minute. I'm going to do some brighter pink ones. There's green there. So I think I'm just going to do another flower. What do we think? It's a bit like flower arranging, isn't it? I think we need one more flower, but maybe just the flower coming out here. There we are. And could have had a bit of something happening there. Maybe we could have had one of these. You can obviously do more accurate masking if you want, but I'm just trying for speed to just mask this quite quickly. Let's see if we can fit one in there. Not much room, is there? Maybe I'm being a bit over ambitious. I don't think that one's going to fit. So if we had the smaller version, it might fit. I think my video is going to run out of time in a minute, so maybe I ought to get on to the next stage. Probably could have fit a little bit of this euphorbia in there, probably would have looked quite nice. Maybe I'll do that quickly. Make it nice and pale. Do a little bit of that in the background. There we go. That looks quite nice. Yeah, that's giving it a little bit of something. Right, I'm happier with that now. So now we get on to the next stage, which is just removing this and a little bit of shading with some blue. I'm just going to draw in the back of the jug a little bit there, and then I'm going to add a bit of colour. You can take your time a bit more with this, but I'm trying to beat the clock so the video doesn't run out. There we go. There we are. Maybe a little bit more there. There, that looks nice. And then I add a little bit . It's quite fun to add a little bit of colour to these. And okay. Filled in a bit more there. There we go. And then I'm going to do a little bit of grey shading, and then I'm going to be done. Just add a little bit of grey around the bottom of the pot. Helps it just to sit on the tablecloth a bit more. Just a little bit at the edge there. And you could add a little bit of shading here if you want. There we go, and I think that's done. And I know I'm going to be running out of time. So that's a lovely spring greetings card, which you can also decorate an envelope for using that little pattern, and I just think that would make a really lovely card to receive in the post, and it's really not that difficult to do. So I hope you enjoyed watching, so please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments how you're getting on with your stamping, and if there's any favourite flowers you have in your garden that you'd like to see me make stamps of. I'm always really interested to hear any suggestions for new designs, and I hope to be making lots more videos this year. So do like and subscribe, and I hope to hear from you soon. Let me know how it's going with the stamping. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye bye.